This episode of the Esoteric Order of Roleplayers is brought to you by the generosity of our backers on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/esotericrp to find out how you can become a backer too. Remember to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to keep up with all the latest news, and join our Discord community to chat with players and fellow listeners. The Esoteric Order broadcasts from Santa Fe, New Mexico. We recognize these episodes are produced on the traditional territory of the Tewa-speaking Pueblo peoples, and we acknowledge their community, their ancestors, their elders both past and present, and future generations. The Esoteric Order of Roleplayers present The Great Game, a Castle Falkenstein campaign, with David Larkins as the host. So there we go. We're back in the world of recorded technology. Woo! So we are picking up right where we left off. Bit of a cliffhanger last time. Shit was about to go down.
Perhaps a cathedral nipple hanger. I prefer.
Yeah, nipple piercing, if you will. Where we left off was exactly at the point where our bishop was saying that he was obligated to ask if anybody knows a reason why these persons may not lawfully marry, to declare it now. And over to you. Anyone?
Whose job was it to object? Was that me?
It was your job.
Whoever wants to...
I'm pretty sure that was me.
Yeah.
Stall.
I'm the plant to agree with you.
Gotcha. Right. Okay. So, I, as Iskander, will stand up and step into the aisle? Yeah, the aisle.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I have to go in front of people to get there.
Excuse me, pardon me.
Right, exactly. So I'm going to stand up and have like a stentorian index finger in the air. I object! And furthermore, I shall tell... Oh, pardon. Excuse me. Pardon me. Oh, so sorry. Pardon me. Oh, who brings a cat to a wedding? And then, meanwhile, Katsubu is we're like across the church, like what? And then, as I finally make my way to the aisle and straighten my tie, yes, you see, for this wedding is a farce. They should not be allowed to proceed with these matrimonial nuptials. For I have it on good authority that, and here's where I kind of falter a little bit because I don't remember why exactly I'm objecting.
I'm like
objecting because
maybe someone whispers to Iskander.
Yeah. because
yeah. Or you see,
he's got syphilis and he's really poor actually, and
did we have a chance to meet back up and know that though? Because I think right now, like, Haas is the one who has all the info. We're just the people who made the device.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to ad-lib, I think.
Yeah, make something
up. This man is
up.
a scoundrel and a fiend, and I have heard on numerous occasions that he often buttered his toast with both sides of the knife, and so forth.
Is that a euphemism?
I mean, is it? Or is it literal,
It could go either way.
Either way. Although there is something about like buttering your bread on both sides or something, and infidelity or something like that. I don't know.
They have such strong feelings about butter here in England as they do in France.
That's what I was trying to kind of riff off of with that. But so Iskander is just
very smart, loud stage whisper. I'm like, oh, I heard that too. It's just dreadful. I can't believe they even let him into the church. Ooh.
Yeah, I knew a guy who did that once. I don't even talk to him anymore.
Frederick, when do you plan on springing his syphilitic consort?
I think probably arranged it ahead of time to wait for an appropriately dramatic moment.
Okay.
I kind of leaving it up to Pleasant Doolin for the most part when she feels she wants to get up, but I think I'll help as I can.
Okay, fair. I didn't know if we wanted to. Would you guys think is that good to bring up before or after I descend from the ceiling?
Well, I think now, since I'm already stage whispering and getting kind of excited about it, I'm gonna go ahead and oh, look at his poor bride up there. She looks so miserable. You can tell she doesn't want to be here. Who would twist a poor woman's arm like that? Oh, I can't believe. It's just
Did
so
you see
sad.
the color of her dress?
The tears from her eyes. You could tell she's holding back fountains upon fountains. Oh, the poor thing. Quick, take her down. Don't make her stand there. It's such a disgrace.
Punctuated by,
and on.
I personally saw him kick a dog off of Rue de Marquette just last Tuesday. And hopefully there's, gasps, scandalized pearl clutching and stuff.
That too.
Oh yeah, I mean, so the murmuring started as soon as Iskander stood up, because obviously that moment, that brief pause, anybody object? Okay, moving on, right? But no, this giant dude just springs up like a jack-in-the-box. So everyone's like, oh, what the hell's going on here? And then as he's moving down the aisle, and there's chairs screeching on the marble, as people are getting out of his way. The tumult, it's building in intensity, and then of course you get out there and you're like, j'accuse, and then people are like, oh my god, and then Breksta is just adding to it, and so now it's just a general hubbub, tumult, and Lord Azimuth looks very upset, and he steps forward and he says, excuse me, sir, who exactly are you, and what are you doing here?
Oh, this dude's voice.
Who is he? Who are you?
Gross.
That would be great. This is not a game of who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
No, I'll tell him, drawing myself up to my considerable and full height, placing my hand upon my breast. I am Iskander Ozan, renowned inventor and adventurer. Why, I recently saved the princess. God, what was her name? Duchess.
That's
Duchess
your
Elizabeth
That's your girlfriend,
herself.
dude.
Well, no, that's Sasha. That's different. She's anyway. Well, I recently rescued the Duchess herself, Her Majesty Elizabeth, on the train incident, which has garnered wide renown across much of Europe, and also a student at the University of the esteemed Professor Godot.
True, everyone's heard of him. I can't believe. Why would you even ask that? That's so embarrassing.
So, I'm listening in on this.
And
And I'm
you're actually in a perfect acoustic triangulation. You can hear everything.
Totally, yeah, everything's great. I'm like, wow, this sounds great up here. I'm basically, I recall last time we were going to, someone was going to be like, and once they've sufficiently ruined his reputation as much as they can, they're going to be like, and furthermore, her heart belongs to another, and that's my cue to drop from the ceiling. So I'm waiting, and I'm nervously looking over the invention that Astrid and Iskander had cobbled up for me, and I'm making sure that it works. And do I need any time to is this a magic spell? Do I need to rev the engine, so to speak?
Yeah, I'm gonna need to start drawing cards from the sorcery deck.
Right.
And
no.
No. No. It'll. They passed their dramatic feat. They succeeded in their dramatic feat last time, so that means it's going to work as intended, which is pretty much just a nice little auto-repelling device.
Worst case scenario, though, if you got stuck up there, it would just be like the voice of God from above, you know?
That's
true. You'd be the Deus Ex Machina, basically.
That's right.
So.
And you're right, Breksta. God is American.
Oh, hey, y'all. Maybe don't do all that dang old stuff down there. You know what I mean?
I think it was the governor of Iowa in World War I when they banned teaching German in schools and there were complaints about it. He said, there's no point learning any other language. God only listens to English.
Damn.
So...
That is an outrageous claim.
I know.
I have to respect somebody when they say something that ridiculous.
That's a bold claim. Let's see if it works out for him.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that it's twofold, you know what I mean? Not only the whole only listens to one language thing, but also that that, you know what I mean? You know the mind of God and all that.
Right, yeah.
Come on, man.
God only speaks English, brother. Come on.
Come on, we all know that. Don't pretend. Don't pretend otherwise. All right, so you're waiting to hear those magic words she loves someone else or something along those lines, basically. She's promised to another. So there's this general tumult, hubbub. So let's see here. Frederick, you are sitting next to Pleasant. She's looking increasingly angry. Her freckles are beginning to disappear as her face flushes. And so she jumps up and points an accusing finger at Percival, and she says, "What? You didn't think I'd show up either, did you bastard?" and at that, Azimuth actually looks, taken aback a little bit, Astrid, what are you up to?
Well, besides hoping I don't have to try to catch Grant, I guess, Iskander started the stuff. Now, I was going to jump up and do the whole and her heart belongs to another thing if I needed to, but right now it looks like, Pleasant's kind of got the floor. I don't want to interrupt her or anything, but
yeah,
I'm hoping that scares him off a little.
Yeah, for a but the most damning thing or something like that kind of moment. It's kind of segue, I guess.
So we're gonna wait for her to monologue, is what we're saying.
Yeah, let her get her piece.
I hope you wrote a lengthy monologue, David. Go.
Shit. Okay. Henry V, Act 2, Scene 1. Oh, you mean for her? Okay. So. Yeah, so at that, of course, everybody's heads whip around to that source of disturbance. And there's even more. At that point, there's even, some old dowager, literally clutches her pearls and faints, just, hearing such rough language being used in St. Paul's Cathedral is just too much for her.
I think that I feel better. This low-grade headache that I've had this entire time is just easing slightly with this slight blaspheme.
Definitely. And so Pleasant. I don't know, Frederick. Where would you have positioned her in the audience?
Well, I think we were towards the back, probably outside aisle, maybe. So I'm thinking she would probably be sitting on the edge of the aisle. For easy access if she wants to, approach the front of the cathedral.
Yeah.
And I was also curious, does anyone else, I forgot if everyone else knew about Pleasant and what her backstory was, or if this is all coming as a surprise to your character.
It's we knew you were getting information, you were doing your diplomat thing, but I think
I think you went directly from the hospital to the pretty woman montage.
Yeah. Okay. Iskander and I spent the entire day making the harness. And then that night we got Breksta to deliver it and the man up to the nipple. So I don't know that we know.
Okay, cool.
Deliver him to the nipple. So I love the idea that it's like Frederick's just like, I'll see what I can find out. Disappears. And like the next time you see him, he's basically got this like tactical nuclear device that he's brought with him,
in pink.
Like a true diplomat.
Yeah, exactly.
Tactical missile in pink.
Yeah. All right. So she has jumped up, pointed the accusing finger, and now she's like, locomoting her way to the, along the edge of the audience towards the altar, like hoisting her skirts up in front of her and like, just doing this like real determined walk. Her boots are clacking on the marble, and Percival looks actually pale, as if he's seeing a ghost, and he withdraws behind his would-be bride, kind of using her as a shield. And then he says to his groomsmen, he says, "She's a woman, protect me!" And these four groomsmen, sort of form a human wall in front of him and Miss Holmes.
What a coward he is! I've never seen a man with such lack of will and of wit. Just what an embarrassment for him. He must have no character at all.
Excellent. At that, Miss Holmes' father, who's in the front row, gets up and he says, "Now see here, Lord Azimuth, what's going on? I thought you were a man of good character. Who is this woman?" As she's like coming up towards the groomsmen and shaking her fist at them, like, "Let me through! Let me through! I have a few more choice words for him." And so it's just complete chaos.
No, he totally deserves this. She was the victim the entire time. You wouldn't believe what he did to her.
I would stride up to the dais if possible. At that, if she's trying to push past the groomsmen, I would loom up behind her. "You can part for her, or you can part for me."
That's dope.
Okay, so fun fact, the tradition of having groomsmen at a wedding actually comes from the idea that the groom would need Confederates at his side to defend him from the bride's angry in-laws should they wish to come and take her away. And so these guys are kind of old school like that, and they are ready to throw down.
That's good to know.
Awesome.
Then I will stand up and move up next to Iskander.
Likewise.
Solidarity. Nice.
All right. So as there's like this face-off brewing, and fists are clenched, stare downs are happening, Miss Holmes shakes herself free from Percival, who's been sort of clutching her shoulder, and she says, "Get off me, Percy! You never loved me anyway, and I certainly never loved you."
"That's right. For I know that her heart belongs to another, and this is the most damning sin against this infernal matrimony that we cannot allow in this holiest of places."
I'm up on the ceiling, like checking my harness. I'm like, "Oh yeah, here we go."
Like an 8-point check. All right.
Yeah, totally.
Do it.
Yeah, as I imagine somebody in the crowd at that comment would be like, who could this poor woman love?
And poor woman, oh yes, indeed. Her heart must belong to a man who is of far better character than this one. He truly must be a noble and handsome gentleman for a lady such as this to favor him over someone. I mean, Percival is just awful. I know, we all know that, but clearly this just like ridiculous. It's just gonna be over the top.
Total,
yeah, you're gonna owe me so big after this.
Totally.
I hear he's even more rich too.
Oh, that is true. That is true.
Actual true.
I hear he's never had his shoelaces tied together unexpectedly either.
I hear his Latin name is.
Yeah. So like at that, when they're like, who could this woman possibly, be in love with? You guys hear from the roof of the cathedral, like, that'd be me. Everybody looks around like, and I descend like from the cathedral ceiling. Yeah,
can I do something ostentatious, like
absolutely
have like a burst of like, I don't know, like golden butterflies, like shoot out from around him?
Nice.
Yeah. Definitely. As soon as when everybody looks up at me, that's it's like boom. I'm wearing my Western wear wedding suit, as well as like a big kind of like English cowled cape, and which is like flying behind me, and then I land like right on
where the butterflies are coming out of.
Oh, there you go. And I land like right behind, right like between at Lord Asmuth and the altar, and do like everybody kind of clears away, and I'm doing the total 3-point superhero land.
That's true. We did have to guess the calibration for that, so we didn't know exactly how quickly it would lower you or not. Right?
Yeah.
Like they could be Jurassic Park, 2 or 3 or whatever. Like like the harder you squeeze, the slower you go. And
there you go. That's a good idea.
And then it's just like with thump, like I would have squeezed a little harder.
I was kind of imagining him just like.
Maybe get hung up a little bit, a third of the way down.
We got a full success. It works well.
Yes,
Don't
that's
try
right.
to make it
Plus
bad.
the butterfly effect.
And then butterflies are like
confidence.
exploding out of his cape parts, and when he lands, like I just straighten out his cape a little, like how you adjust the train on the bride, like.
Thank you.
We can't discount the butterfly effect, though. I do like that.
That is true.
So some wedding over in like Africa or somewhere has to go just perfectly as a result of this.
Right.
It's fine.
And I stand up and kind of like straighten out my cloak, and I take my hat off and do like a deep bow to Miss Holmes.
Okay.
And I say, Miss Holmes, I acknowledge her, and I say, Miss Holmes, I'm certainly glad to have seen you today.
And now I'm going to turn her robot dress pure white.
Oh, that's
that's right.
The snow.
Not yet. We have to wait until he has to abandon her at the altar.
Oh,
that's right. That's right.
I was thinking it was that like she sees you and maybe you like take her hand and it's like
that could also
you can't. Also, I'm impatient. I want
That's true.
Imagine her dressed like a third white from the bottom up, and then like, oh wait, what? No, not yet. And it goes back down.
Right. See
not yet, you fool.
Yeah.
No, as the like butterflies like escape from out under your cloak, it swirls around her dress, and then
exactly.
Yeah.
That's
right. Cinderella.
Yes.
Nice.
It's very clear that the dress is turning white because
that's right. It's very clear. And I look at Lord Asmuth and I say, how dare you abscond with Miss Holmes? Lord Asmuth, you ought to be ashamed. And in fact, I do believe you're a coward, sir.
Ooh. Shit. All right. So, let's have you make a courage feat. That is cups. It's matched against Asmuth's courage, which is a mere average.
He doesn't seem very courageous.
No, yeah, he does not. But you know who is?
Yeah.
Grant with this King of Cups, brother.
Oh, ho, ho. All right.
If I need more, I got him. You just let me know.
What is your courage currently?
Probably average. I don't have any.
Wait. Yeah, courage, don't you, or something like that?
I think it might
good.
Be. I'm good. Courageous is. Yeah, you're right. It's great.
Yeah, that was your great stat.
Great courage. Courage.
Well, courage. Well remembered. All right, so let's see. 12.
I was thinking earlier, I was like, I don't need my character sheet.
Fool. All right, so Okay, so that's a 13 plus your great of 8 is 21. Wow. Against his average of 4. Now, I do have a cup in here. Let's see if playing it would do me any good. What did we say? 21? Okay, so... Okay, well, I could play this and prevent it from being a high success, so I will do that. Okay. That 7 of cups makes it into a regular success.
Can I counterplay? Is that how
you
this
can play?
works?
You can bid it up if you want. Yeah, if you've got cups.
Let me ask you this: how many more cups do I need to make it to the next tier?
Okay, so I did 7 plus 4 is 11, so you really just need one more point.
Oh,
actually.
Okay. Well, I'll drop a 5.
Okay.
The V of cups.
All right. So you call him a coward, do you?
Right. Say, I do believe you're a coward, sir.
And he does the little, half charge thing.
Right.
But he steps down with that too.
That's right. I'm like, that's 2 for flinching.
Meanwhile, your crew is all nodding as well. At least I am.
That's right.
Yep.
Oh, go ahead.
What he does is the Count Rugen from Princess Bride when he gets the "Hello, you killed my father, prepare to die" speech. He just kind of looks at you, and it looks like for a minute he's about to throw down, and then he just turns and runs.
Hell
just
yeah!
Ignominiously, his shoes, echoing as the somehow drowning out the sheer tumult that has now overtaken the scene of the wedding. Pleasant, of course, jeering at him as he runs, like, "You better run, you bastard!" Just laughing her ass off. And the grooms look a bit perplexed. They don't really know what to do. The bishop, of course, looks completely stunned. And Miss Holmes looks at you, Grant, with tears brimming in her eyes, and she says, "I didn't think I'd ever see you again." And she, basically presses herself against you in a warm embrace.
I would like a shower of golden glitter, little just beautiful, to just shower down from the center of the cathedral and this beam of light.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah, the beam of light for sure. I embrace Miss Holmes, and then I put both of my hands on her shoulders and I kind of pace her back. And then I drop to one knee, brother. And I pull out a ring from my back pocket, and I say, "Miss Adelaide Holmes, will you do me the honor of being my wife?"
Wow, I've never seen a diamond that big before.
Yeah, geez, check that out. All right. To which, of course, she is rendered nearly speechless, but manages to gasp out, "Of course."
All right, so have a little rainbow above them.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So your intention was to get married on the spot, correct?
Yeah, I'm definitely this wedding's happening on Lord Azimuth's dime.
I kind of usher our little crew that's up here into the groomsmen positions so that we can
I was just gonna say I'll usher the other groomsmen.
Yeah.
There you go.
I definitely invented the dab at this point. I was yes.
A DJ horn somehow plays in the background.
That's right. Air horn.
Yep.
I would like to usher the groomsmen off the dais, though. It appears as though your services are no longer required. Please take your seats among the audience.
So so they're all just a bunch of Eton boys. So they're just "Oh, it's outrageous. Lord Azimuth, please hold up, And so they kind of hit them and half the people who are there begin to filter out basically. But Grant, you see Papa Azimuth, who I will remind myself of his first name shortly, but you see Percival's father, And he is this, very severe looking older gentleman with this, gigantic mutton chops, and a monocle, and a shiny.
Are his chops bigger than mine? Like,
yes.
Not Kenny's, like Grizzly's.
Run for your money for sure.
Okay, yeah. Fair.
Yeah, but a shiny bald pate, and Peter Asmouth. Wow. Okay. No comment. But yeah, all his whiskers are bristling, and but otherwise he betrays no sign of emotion. But he kind of does he kind of gives you that stare down. If he wasn't so proper, he'd do the old eye to eye thing. I got you, kind of thing. So, okay. And then he just turns on his heel and walks out.
This dude is my new nemesis.
You leveled up your nemesis.
Yeah. Hell yeah. You can't, it's not a good wedding if you don't level up your nemesis.
I think Oscar Wilde said that. All right. So there's a general hubbub and tumult. Pleasant has returned from heckling Percival out of the cathedral, and she's like, "Calm down, everybody! Can't you see there's a couple in love up here who are going to get married? Proceed."
I want to say thank you, man.
I don't know who you are, but thank you.
Right? Yeah, I was going to use her name, and I was like, "Grant doesn't know her name."
Yeah, and then she like seats herself, primly on one of the chairs in the front row.
I don't know who you are, you angry little woman, but I appreciate the sentiment.
Right. I hope you don't have syphilis.
What an odd thing to say.
Okay, yeah, and then she says yes, and
I
turn around yeah. And I look at the who marries people? Is it a cardinal? Is it a?
You've got yourself a bishop here.
A bishop. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Well, I look at the bit. I've got my hat out. I've got my hat down still, probably tucked up under one arm, and then I say, "Well, Bishop, if you please, I believe we can carry on now."
Okie dokie.
I believe we were to the good part.
We were to the good part.
Right.
All right. So yes, this is
our bishop is played by Mel Brooks.
Our bishop is played by. Yeah. No, this is the Bishop of London. I'm just getting him. John Jackson. All right.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That sounds like a name that Grant would approve of.
It really is. I'm like, Bishop Indeed. John Jackson. Hell yeah, we're partying, brother.
All right. So yeah, he's been watching all of this with bemusement, just sort of like, wow, I've never seen this happen before. But he's more than happy to carry on with the ceremony. Obviously, Adelaide's Abigail's party is still present, and they're all equally happy,
Mm-hmm. You were right first time, by the way. It's Adelaide.
Oh, Adelaide. Oh, okay, good. Yeah. So basically, he starts up again, and he just kind of starts again from the top. The people who have remained were either with her party or are just morbidly curious to see how this whole thing's going to finish up.
Oh yeah,
this is going to be fantastic gossip for tomorrow.
Oh totally. Yeah, I mean, there's several like society page reporters in the audience who are just furiously taking notes.
We're about to be famous, y'all. If we weren't already. Yeah.
All right, and so I'm not going to read through the whole thing. Of course, I don't want to legally marry anybody again this week. But yeah, it does. It is binding, as I mentioned. But yeah, no, this is the Anglican ceremony, very much in the mold of your traditional wedding vows, better for worse, sickness and in health, till death do us part. the giving of rings, and so on and so forth. Rings are exchanged, and actually, there is a one ring option. That's interesting. And then finally, Bishop Jackson says, "In the presence of God and before this congregation, Mr. Morgan and Miss Holmes have given their consent and made their marriage vows to each other. They have declared their marriage by the joining of hands and the giving and receiving of rings. I therefore proclaim that they are husband and wife," as he joins your hands together and says, "Those whom God has joined together, let no one put asunder."
Nice.
Those are like little glitter fireworks like up above them in the nipple.
Oh yeah, there you go. And I pull her close, and I dip her backwards and plant a big old kiss on her.
All right.
Something to give the papers a little,
Yeah.
little something to end on.
Okay. And so with that, the bells of the cathedral begin to peal out, and Breksta, your head almost explodes.
I vomit. But it's beautiful, just liquid, golden sparkly. It's all gold today, is what I'm working with.
There's this fairy over the corner, just leaning over the holy water.
All right.
Vomiting sparkles into the holy water. Into the font.
I really tried to keep it in this whole time, but
you did it.
Yeah, bells just brought the liquid sunshine right out of you.
I forgot. I didn't
Sure
think they
did.
were gonna do this part.
Yeah. You're like, oh god, the bells.
Oh, I forgot about the bells.
Yep.
But they do this all the time? Damn it.
All right, and so meanwhile, though, everybody else is kind of crowding in, cheering, clapping, patting you on the back, oh, congratulations, old boy, oh, you Americans, and so on and so forth, as you rush out of the cathedral into Lord Azimuth's waiting carriage, because he just took to his feet and didn't jump into the wedding carriage. He's been waiting outside.
What a fool.
And you are conveyed away, to many cheers and plaudits.
Awesome. Yeah, we get the what do they call it? The iris.
Yeah, iris is the heart-shaped iris out. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, heart-shaped iris out to the back of the carriage that said "just married."
Just married. Yeah.
It's it was like Mr. and Mrs. Azimuth, and Azimuth is crossed out and it says Grant.
Love it. All right. So, congrats. You did it.
We did it.
Y'all did it.
That's right. Thank you, everybody, for helping me achieve this monumentous character goal.
The only fun I've ever had in a church.
Yeah.
Well, of course, after you retrieve this contraption, we can't just leave it here. That would be littering.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. I probably tried to walk away from it, forgetting the harness was still on me. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I guess instead of running out of the church, you could have been pulled back up with.
That's true. Yeah, back
Adelaide in your arms,
into the nipple.
So waiting airship.
Yeah, I'm like,
don't.
Don't.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah, I wish.
All right. So, indeed, the device is retrieved, no problem, and the next day, indeed, the aborted wedding of Lord Percival Azimuth and the subsequent nuptials of this rapacious American adventurer, are all over the papers. The tabloids are celebrating it. The Times is scandalized. Many an editorial is penned about gauche Americans and their new money coming in to ruin good English aristocracy, and how this Grizzly Grant, as he's called, is just the incarnation of this unfortunate tendency. But the newly married Mrs. Grant cares not for any of this. She's fully bougie and doesn't give a shit what the Times has to say.
Totally.
And her parents are happy for her when they find out how much you're worth personally. So they're totally satisfied.
This is the ultimate role play. This is so far beyond
right.
my scope.
Let me escape into the fantasy world.
My wife's parents love me because I'm rich. I love that.
So, as all of that kind of calms down, the one thing that Adelaide would like would be a nice honeymoon in Scotland.
Oh, of course.
And as a way of thanking, your friends for helping to make it a reality, she would like them to, come along to this castle that she's picked out for an extended vacation as well.
Now we're talking. The group honeymoon, brother. Yeah.
That's right. Absolutely.
I'm in.
It's a social event.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
your honeymoon is all your friends.
Yeah,
well,
that's right.
You get your own suite, who cares, right?
There you go, yeah. And when
you stay all in a hostel.
We just like them in a different wing.
One shared bathroom.
Exactly. Yeah, shared bathroom.
And when I imagine we're probably all like at brunch when Mrs. Grant brings this up.
Of course.
Kind of inviting everybody to Scotland. I'm going to get up and hug everybody. Like one-on-one, give everybody a big hug.
I can imagine some of you hating that and some of you being okay with it.
Yeah.
Do you hug Potterfield?
I hug Potterfield
right.
if he's there, or if they're there. And then
Katsuboo.
Katsuboo for sure. I give Katsuboo a good pat on the head. Probably don't pick her up. And then when I get to Breksta, I make sure that my iron is like on the table or somebody's holding it, and then give Breksta a hug.
Nice. You can't buy that kind of consideration. That's
right.
Awesome.
Now, David, did you pick this location so that you could do your famously good Scottish accent?
It really just fell into my lap. It was Providence looking out for us all.
To be fair, I feel like it's not a real campaign unless you Connery on us at least once.
Yeah,
that's true.
Fair enough.
Connery on you. Speaking of Katsuboo, just as a side note here, I ran across an interesting little thing today. I don't know. Maybe this is evidence of Katsuboo's. The Katsuboo's not your normal cat. He might be an immortal cat. Because I ran across this 9th century diary entry by the Emperor Uda of Japan, who wrote about his new cat that he got at the age of 17. And I quote, "On the 6th day of the 2nd month of the 1st year of the Kampo era, taking a moment of my free time, I wish to express my joy of the cat. It arrived by boat as a gift to the late emperor, received from the hands of Minamoto no Kuwashi. The color of the fur is peerless. None could find the words to describe it, although one said it was reminiscent of the deepest ink. It has an air about it, similar to Kano. Its length is 5 sun, and its height is 6 sun. I affixed a bow about its neck, but it did not remain for long. In rebellion, it narrows its eyes and extends its needles. It shows its back. When it lies down, it curls in a circle like a coin. You cannot see its feet. It's as if it were a circular bee disc. When it stands, its cry expresses profound loneliness, like a black dragon floating above the clouds. By nature, it likes to stalk birds. It lowers its head and works its tail. It can extend its spine to raise its height by at least 2 sun. Its color allows it to disappear at night. I am convinced it is superior to all other cats."
That is amazing.
That's so awesome.
There was
you were going to say,
cat
his name is
Katsuboo.
His name is Katsuboo. No, I would have immediately sent that out to everybody if that had been the case. Like, oh my god, you guys, we've taken it too far. We've crossed over.
More proof we live in a simulation. Look,
that's right. That's the glitch of the Matrix.
if there is ever a cat that could make the leap between the train cars, it would be that cat. So I do see a lot of similarities here.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right. So,
hugging, if I may, I think Iskander would have leaned into it when Grant hugged him and actually did the pick him up thing with the hug and so on, and then get a little choked up and continue to hold him in the hug with one arm while like, oh, yes, of course, my friend. We've been through so much together. Before putting him back down.
I'm like, I've got like both my hands like up and I'm like like patting the tops of your traps. I'm like, they're there, old buddy.
Oh man.
Awesome. Sorry, that's all I had.
Anybody else notably resistant or accepting of said hug?
Yeah, don't be afraid to let your emotions show here.
I think Haas is, mildly embarrassed, but receptive for sure. It's just
sounds like Haas all the
this
time.
is nice. Yeah, exactly.
Right, yeah.
It's pretty much demo for everything. Mildly embarrassed, but ultimately receptive.
I'm like, maybe America
in his
and
DNA.
Right. I'm like, maybe in America and Germany can get along.
For a little while, at least. For the next 43 years.
Right. I'm like, I do believe we've solved every international incident from here on out, Mr. Haas.
That's why.
What a strange thing to say. All right, so very good. Yeah, so the invitation's put out. Now, I was just going to say, really the only thing to decide is when you want to take this honeymoon. Like, how much time do you want to allow to pass between the wedding and the honeymoon? Is it one of those things where it's like a year later, or is it just a couple weeks later, or is it somewhere in between?
You know what? I think spending a good chunk of late October would be perfect for Scotland.
Late October, you say?
I think so. I think that sounds very appropriate.
Sure. I hear it's very lovely up there that time of year.
Nice and sunny.
Yeah, right.
Sunny beaches of Scotland in late October.
The weather's bound to be nice.
Yeah, Grant comes out in like black and white striped like swimming trunks. He's like, let's go.
Let's do this.
Oh, we'll have to get some super thick Scottish wool sweaters to resist even the boniest of fingers poking at our chests. You Americans with your newfangled ways. I can't feel a thing.
Oh, dear. All right. So, very good. All right. So, the location that Adelaide picks out is Broderick Castle on the Isle of Arran, I suppose. And which is kind of, this is going to be really nice weather. It's located kind of off the west coast of Scotland, in the Firth of Clyde. And yeah, so definitely everyone in the first three rows will get wet. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, you'll definitely want your waterproofs and your heavy wool sweaters as stated. But yeah, so basically, why don't we just do a quick summary, and we can, if you want to backtrack in the midweek tasters and talk about, what you did in the intervening 4 months between the wedding and the honeymoon. But if there's anything you just want to state for the record in the here and now, feel free.
I don't think so. I've probably just been laying low with the wife.
So you're living in London now, though. You've relocated.
Yeah, I guess so.
Or did you take her back to Paris with you?
No, I probably took her back to Paris.
Okay. Mainly
to get away from the Azimuth family and be like, let's not bother with these fools. And, I have an international arms dealing factory that I need to get back to eventually.
Good point.
So you know, we gotta do something with that factory, guys. I don't know what to do. You can't just tear it down.
I mean, not with that attitude.
That's right. I mean, there's no reason. Well, hey, I have an idea. I mean, so let me ask you this, David.
Mm-hmm.
In Castle Falkenstein,
Mm-hmm.
if is there an? I mean, I know there's an actual Castle Falkenstein, but do we have like any input on that building?
Like awareness of it, or what?
Yeah, or being like, oh, you know what? Let's put a garden in here.
In the style of the castle, or what exactly?
Yeah, I don't know. Can we like modulate the castle at all?
Oh, sure. Of course.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely,
I was gonna say,
yeah.
I guess my real question is like, do we have a base of operations? Because we could turn this factory into like our place. You know what I'm saying? Like we could have a tinkerer's place for Iskander and Astrid, and like a nice library or something for Haas, and then like a iron-proof area for Breksta.
I like that.
Garden.
That's what I like. Apparently, it's just like as long as there's no iron, it's fine.
All right, yeah.
So they're like,
I don't know what she doesn't. You know, let her do.
Like Magneto cell. It's just
That's
like
right.
clear acrylic plastic.
There's
Right.
nothing in there.
Yeah, just a chessboard, and there's no iron, Breksta. Trust me.
I have to acknowledge the
No, it gets
merit of a man
fresh,
who knows his
young
limitations.
artists
Like,
delivered to it every week.
okay.
There you go.
That's right. There
You gotta be like, whatever we do would be wrong. Just make it,
Right,
suitable,
yeah.
I like
accommodating,
Astrid
and
is
she'll
going with-
handle the rest.
What hot Scots do we have in this time period?
Hot
That's
Scott.
a good question. Great Scott, man.
That's right.
Yeah, that's something we need to know for sure.
That's true.
All right.
How many Stuarts are in the area?
Let me Google hot Scots of the 19th century and see what comes out. Scotland in the modern era. That sounds boring.
These aren't steam-powered Scots.
These aren't hot Scots.
That's outrageous.
It does sound like a mildly sweet English like pastry or something like that.
Hot
To
Scot.
go
Yeah,
along
I
with
could
your
definitely
hot cross buns and hot
Go for a
Scots.
hot Scot right now.
Get your hot Scots.
That's right. It's
Dip
nice
it in your
and,
tea.
nice and cold outside. Time to make some hot Scots.
There you go.
Wow. All right. So, anything else? Anybody? Frederick, obviously, you're just doing your diplomat gig.
Yeah,
from
how
the
much
embassy.
time is passing between now and the honeymoon?
4 months.
4 months? Okay, I'd probably spend some of that time checking in on Ms. Doolin, during her recovery and
Of
just,
course.
seeing how that's going.
Okay.
I might take a little time to make a trip back to Innsbruck also, just to check on my house and see, if everything's kind of doing okay over there.
See if Carl, wait, what's his last name? Carl Gross. See if Carl Gross has had you declared legally dead and your assets seized.
Yeah. Well, basically, yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, so with Pleasant, it would probably be mostly correspondence, right? 'Cause she's back in London still. I don't know if you want to set her up or anything, or see to her welfare in any way.
Well, I don't really have much in the way of exchequer,
Okay.
so I'm not sure how effective that would be. But yeah, I think just she was instrumental, I feel like, in helping with this, and so I want to make sure she's taken care of as best as possible, as best as I mean.
I mean, I feel like that's a heck of a favor to be able to call in from Mr. Grant. I mean, I know he might be stretched a little thin, what with everything, but if anyone owes this lady anything, it would be him for sure.
Yeah.
Not
Send
that,
Send her. So anybody who helped out during the wedding, I'll do whatever I can for him.
Yeah, that'd be great actually. If maybe I'm not sure what kind of care she was getting, but if there's the upgraded version of that, some kind of more of a restful retreat type place or something she could go to.
Yeah, good idea. You'll get her an all doctor a team that's all been medical team that's all been infected with syphilis, so they they know the pain.
That's right. Yeah, I was looking through. I'm looking through the generic spells and stuff like that, and I'm not seeing anything that's like cure disease, which is probably fine. I don't know that I can cure her syphilis, but I don't know. I mean, what do I got? I got
Yeah, I mean the Templars are kind of the more medically oriented group.
Are these so? When you say Templars, Kenny thinks like Guardians of the Grail, but I also think like fourth, well, whatever degree Freemason. Are they related to Freemasons at all in Castle Falkenstein?
I want to say they are, just off the top of my head. I can confirm that though.
Okay. Because if I can call in a favor, I could be like, hey, I know a guy who, you can't tell anybody that we cured your syphilis because then we'll have lines out the doors. But
right. No, yeah, these are literally the Knights Templar.
Okay.
And let's see here. Who are they? Oh, they're only friendly with one order. What is that? Oh, yeah, the Order of St. Boniface. That would make sense. Oh, yeah, St. Boniface. They're the ones. They're also medically healing oriented. Are they enemies, though, of the Freemasons? No, they are not. They are not.
Okay. Well, then I might seek somebody out, even if I can... if I could get a hold of, I don't know. I mean, I guess I could use my connections, right?
Right. I mean, let's see here. As a United States Freemason, you're friendly with the Eleusinians, the Golden Dawn, the Order of St. Boniface. Oh, yeah. Oh, and the Templars. Okay, so I guess it's like a one-way street. That's funny. So it says you're friendly with the Templars, but the Templars not necessarily friendly in return. I don't know.
I'm used to that.
Yeah.
Then I would like to when and if Haas brings this lady's misfortune up to me, I'll see what I can do.
Interestingly, you are hostile, just for your information, you're hostile with the League of Isis and the Order of Chthonian Time.
Hate those guys.
Those fucking Chthonians.
Right. Goddamn Chthonians.
Dude, twice a year they arbitrarily change their clocks by an hour. Does that stupidest shit I ever heard of.
The worst.
I mean, technically, yeah, the Order of Chthonian Time does have a major chapter house in Paris, so I guess there's a chance you could run afoul of them.
That'd be kind of... I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But
I just don't know what they do. I'm like, who the hell are they?
Chthonians? Is that like Lovecraftian Chthonian?
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Anyway, we'll press on. So what's your connections?
My connections is good.
Oh, okay, great. So let's see. You're trying to call in a favor. Pretty big favor. So that's a social and status related. So let's have you. I would just need a. Let's see. I think a great success would be your target. So you could buy it up 2 points to get a partial success, or buy it up all the way to 16, which would be 10 points to get a full. Or not 16. Sorry. 12. Which would be 6 points to get a full success.
So I can do that.
Let me just
because it would be swords.
Mm-hmm.
So I can play the 2 of swords.
Okay.
But then I think I'm going to play the world, which makes my connections great.
Oh wow. Okay, cool. So that makes it great, which is an 8, and then the 2 of swords is a 10. All right. Do you have 2 more cards of any suit that you could throw down, and just that would make your full success?
Just throw my hand down, you said?
Yeah, basically, just your last 2 cards there. Yeah. Okay, there you go.
I'm doing it.
All right. Great. So that gets you your full success. So, yes, you do indeed call in a favor from a Templar connection of yours in London who is able to take Miss Doolin into his care. I will check. I'll make a note here to check and see, because I'm not sure myself, like what the scope is in terms of curing disease. At the very least, he'd be able to, basically do the equivalent of what would they call it? Like viral therapy, where the symptoms are just suppressed. Essentially,
okay, great.
Like she may still be infected, but she's not suffering from any of the symptoms. So
that'd be great. Yeah, I'm just gonna tell the Templars, be like, hey, do whatever you can for her. She's real important to me. She's a personal friend. So if she needs anything, if any unexpected costs come up, just put them on my tab, brother.
Mm-hmm. All right.
It is a stand-up guy.
Indeed.
He tries to be. He's an old grandpa sometimes, but he knows when to be a man. You know what I'm saying?
Fair.
All right. Any other activities? So Frederick's kind of checking up on his affairs. All right. What do you got, Iskander?
Well, it took me 27 days to build my journeyman piece, like 0 to 60. So I figure with 4 times that length of time working on it full time between pancreation studies and dates with Sasha, that I would be able to test and tweak, update, test, really dial it in until by the time we leave, it is like really just worthy of handing in as a journeyman piece. But I probably will take it with me for one last field test during this trip before handing it in as final to see if I can elevate my status thereafter to journeyman.
All right. I think that is easily accomplished in the time allotted, so absolutely. And Astrid or Breksta, anything?
If possible. I don't know how possible this is.
Yes.
Before we leave England, I would want to see if either Anna Kingsford or someone that she believed would be a good match might be willing to do a reading of one who has suffered great trauma against their will and has no memory of their past or creation.
Indeed. For that, of course, appropriately enough, she sets you up with Mrs. Memory Lord.
Yeah.
She's a good one.
That sounds that
my secondary character goal is to become her mistress, so
All right. And before we get into that, anything for Breksta in the 4 months?
No, I think I'm actually going to go and spend some time at home.
Oh, right.
I'm feeling a little tired.
Yeah.
Having a church does that.
Yes. Yeah, it's possible. There is such a thing as spending too much time among the mortals,
There really is. They're so funny that way. I think, though, I'm going to go and spend some time at home. Maybe entertain some guests there, but maybe have just kind of a nice, quiet hibernation period. Do some soul searching. All
right. Excellent. I'd say if you were working on leveling up any of your Fey abilities, that would be appropriate, excuse for that. So
yeah,
feel free to bump one up.
Which of those I might be working on.
Mm-hmm. Especially any that are at average or good, I think 4 months is plenty of time to get that up. So
excellent.
Okay, so meanwhile, in London, at the kind of high-end townhouse where Mrs. Lord resides. Breksta, you have come. Are you bringing Potterfield with you?
You mean Astrid?
Oh, sorry. Yep. Astrid.
With that, like, kind of a little bit of vague description of the person not being me and that they've suffered this trauma and lack memory, yes. If that was approved without knowing exactly who Potterfield is, then yes, I'm making that leap.
All right. So you have arrived at this townhouse with Potterfield, and you are shewn into Mrs. Lord's front parlor, which of course is immaculately appointed in, burgundies and, sort of cool grays with some tasteful black crinoline accents, in the draperies. A bouquet of dead, dried roses set out on the main table, and candles, guttering in their sconces, and a clock on the mantelpiece ticking away ominously as a cold rain falls outside. And presently, the mistress of the house comes sweeping in, and let's see. I'm trying to remember if Astrid had any connection, or if you just know her by reputation, right?
Yeah, I only have heard of her really by reputation, and because Grant kind of met with her in order to meet up with Anna Kingsford, but yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Don't know much about her.
All right. So she comes sweeping in, looking quite dramatique, and has you both have a seat near the fire. And she says, "Well, my connections inform me that you wish for a reading."
Yes, it's a bit of a strange situation, but my friend Potterfield here, I've been caring for them after they were left without memory of who they were or who left them there. And as I'm sure you'll find, their situation is not quite natural.
And so she begins to scrutinize Potterfield for the first time, and she says, "Oh dear, yes, this is quite an interesting case. May I?" And she extends her elegant porcelain hands and takes Potterfield's mismatched hands in her own, and she's looking over, and she's noting the sutures and the scars. And she says, "This is quite singular indeed. I feel that my society, the Society of Phantasmal Research, would be most interested in your friend here." And then she looks at you and she says, "But what of you, madam? I sense something about you as well." And she's looking at you with penetrating eyes.
Oh, what is that you sense about me? I'm really just here to figure out what's going on with Potterfield.
No, there's something else. There's strange aspect about you. And she leans in. She's got these like golden almond colored eyes, almost hypnotic, really. And she's leaning in, and she's just staring into your eyes. And she says, "There's someone else behind this mask, I dare say."
I have no idea what to do with that. Uh-oh.
So she takes her hands from Potterfield's and she puts one on your cheek, but she's like kind of running her finger along your jawline, and she says, "You weren't always like this, were you?"
Oh, I had a bit of a magical mishap, but I feel like I'm still me. It's just the body's a little different,
I see. And how do you feel about that? Do you miss your old body?
I mean, I do. This one has some negative connotations for me.
Interesting. Well, my dear, I'm not entirely sure if I can help you, but if I can at all, I will do so. But you wished for some answers about your friend here.
Yes,
So
I'm worried that they might be in danger since we have no idea who did this.
Of course. So she turns back and begins to move her dexterous fingers all about, kind of tracing patterns around Potterfield. Look into my eyes, darling. Look into my eyes. There's nothing to fear. She's sort of muttering incantations under her. The candles begin to, gutter a bit more. It's almost like there's a breeze blowing through the room. Things begin to get a little darker all around you. And, she's continuing with her incantation as the minutes tick by, marked by the ticking of the clock. And then all of a sudden she recoils in horror and utters a scream and collapses to the ground.
I would like to check on her with my medicine. With my, whatever it's called, my physicianing.
Yes, physician it. Is it a good, great?
Let's double check my character sheet. It's good.
Okay. So you check in on her, and she seems to have just suffered a fainting spell.
Okay. So I will support her and do all the proper things to gently rouse her from such faintitude.
Mm-hmm. All right. So a few minutes later, you've got her up on the couch, and you've got the glass of water, and she's rubbing her temples, and she's saying, "Oh dear, 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 dear. That was more than I could personally handle. I ask a favor of you, madam, if you could perhaps consign your friend to me and my associates at the society. There is great, great magic at work with your companion here that is beyond my ability."
They will be safe, not dismantled and studied.
Oh no, my dear, we are thoroughly against such barbarities.
And so I guess I would look to Potterfield and confer with them to make sure it's something he'd be comfortable with. But I mean, Potterfield's always up for something.
Oh yeah, Potterfield's down.
Yeah. So I will miss them greatly. I hope they write me letters. Give them my address in Scotland. But yeah.
So do you leave a forwarding address?
Yes.
Okay. So when Mrs. Lord sees that, her eyebrows perk up a little bit. And she says, "Oh, we're going to Broderick Castle, are you?"
Yes, to celebrate the wonderful nuptials of our friends who were recently married here in London. Well, in London,
Oh, were you associated with that American?
Yes, very much so.
I see. Oh, fascinating. If I might ask you a favor then, in exchange perhaps for helping you with your friend here.
Oh, absolutely.
My old friend from childhood, Lady McElroy, is lady of the castle. She is a most delicate creature. Poor dear experienced a stillbirth last year.
Oh,
And
how sad.
it very nearly was her undoing. Her last letter to me, though, was extremely vexing. I would travel there myself, but I am actually with child myself, so I'm trying not to undertake any great journeys at the moment. But if you could just check in on her. In her last letter, she mentioned that the castle is suffering from a haunting. At which point there is a perfectly timed roll of thunder that rattles the window panes from outside.
Oh, well, I'm sure I could put something together for the detection of such things and put her mind at ease, certainly.
Excellent, excellent. Yes, just look into it, would you? It's an old legend associated with the castle, a black lady who's said to wander the grounds. But if it is indeed the spirit, or perhaps even worse, a banshee, having returned, well, I fear that Lady McElroy is in no condition to deal with such a thing.
Do you have any advice for dealing with such things, should they be there?
Well, of course, you'll want to ascertain the true nature of it. Spirits and the good folk, such as a banshee, would be wholly different entities. If it is a spirit, I'm sure some of my associates could lend their aid. But if it is a banshee, then there's very little I can personally do about it.
Very well. I will definitely check in on her and look into this for you, for the great help that you're giving me and my friend.
You are too kind indeed. All right. So with that...
I was going to say one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine Miss Holmes is probably... I imagine her as having a big library.
Okay, sure.
So I think as in the months before our honeymoon, I think she would probably sit me down and try to learn me a thing or two. So I think mechanically, I'm trying to increase my education.
Okay, that's fine. She reads to you every night from her collection and recommends books for you to, if you'd like to learn more, you can find more books at your local library.
Yeah. She's my own personal look around you.
She's your own personal reading rainbow.
Right.
All right. So we will do a smash cut then to the five of you on a little boat, as it is cutting through the gray waters of the Firth of Clyde on its way out to the Isle of Arran under steely gray skies that are threatening rain at any moment, with a high wind, whipping your scarves cinematically in the breeze.
I imagine my wife is there also.
Yeah, she's there too.
I'm definitely we're standing at the front of the ship, and I've got one hand on her hip as the wind is blowing.
Yeah. Excellent. All right. So yeah, it's just a little steam launch, puttering across the waters, and you can see this island coming up ahead of you. It's a pretty good size island. It's about 400 square miles. It's got some nice rolling hills, and it's patches of woodland here and there. Although having been inhabited for millennia, it's been well cleared for shepherding duties. And anyway, you're coming up on the little pier, the little dock, and you can see as you get closer, that there is a carriage that appears to be parked down near the dock, waiting for you. There's a driver, bundled up in his oilskins, up on the high seat. You can see, the wind whipping away the cigarette smoke as soon as he exhales. And as the boat docks and the gangplank is lowered, he hops down off the carriage.
All right. I'm digging it. I'm like, I'm like looking around, and I'm like, well, what do you think, honey?
Darling, it's what I've always dreamt.
Well, hell yeah. Well, me and 4 of my friends all here to sleep in this castle. I'm excited about it.
Well, and the thing is that if you've done any reading on it, the Isle is very much kind of positioning itself as a tourist destination these days, So.
Did any of her friends or anything like that come, or is it really just Grizz and the gang?
It's 4 weird friends.
Yeah, 4 weird friends. I mean, yeah, it's up to you. If you wanted, maybe the bridal party would come along as well.
I say everybody can. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, she probably has a little bridal party, I guess. But unless anybody wants one of them as a +1, they probably stayed home. But Iskander, if you want to bring your lady in waiting.
I mean, it's one of those things where there's an etiquette and a protocol there, you know what I mean? You don't just bring people to something like this. So that I feel like that would only be appropriate if expressly invited. I don't think that I would try to orchestrate such a thing.
Well, I mean, I probably would have put it out there hey, everybody gets a +1 because all the bridesmaids dipped. Unless David needs some NPC fodder, that's fine.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna need some hapless victims. I mean,
yeah. If we need some spiritual cannon fodder, the bridesmaids are definitely welcome to join us.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know that this is an adventure that Sasha would necessarily come along on unless unless everyone was doing the +1 thing. I don't think he would. I don't think they're at that stage yet.
Fair,
to be fair, it is slightly less awkward if it's not just I don't know.
The 4 of us and a married couple.
Married couple. I think that it makes it feel less festive and more just kind of I don't know. Are they bodyguards? Are they as employees? This is just
Or are we here to witness the consummation so that it's official?
Yeah, we got to make sure that's my baby.
Yeah, speaking of old marriage customs, right?
Yeah, for real. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, like I said, if anybody, I'm just putting it out there. If anybody wanted to orchestrate a +1, they certainly can. If the bridesmaids want to come to make it less awkward, that's also fine. We can be hey, we're just a big old party. This is our honeymoon, and our genders aren't being ratioed right now. I think we're pretty even now.
Right.
If we want to do the +1 thing, depending on how the Templars are, how their work is going with Ms. Doolin, I think that would probably be Frederick's +1 if she wants to go. Nice. And if that's something we all want to do is bring guests and have more fodder.
Like I said, I think I don't know. It makes it feel more like a party and less
Who's your +1, Breksta? Is it the
officer? What hot Scots are there?
I wasn't coming up with a lot of hot Scots.
I know. I was perusing notable Scots, and I was oh.
You gotta bring somebody from Paris anyway, or I guess, or the land of fairy, or London, I guess maybe.
I don't know. We'll maybe go with Bertie Wells again. He's kind of a party boy at this stage.
Sure, sure. Sounds good.
I mean, that mustache, though.
I like that Astrid invented the dab and Grant just invented the Oprah with a "you get a bridesmaid" and "you get a bridesmaid" and "you get a bridesmaid."
There's a lot of revolutionary thinking happening tonight.
Right. Fair enough.
Okay, so Pleasant can definitely be along. Birdie. And anybody else? We'll just fill it out with the bride's party. Otherwise, that fine. Okay. So, all right. And I'm just double checking here. Let's see here. Psychic binding. Let's see. Body of knowledge, sanity, and madness. Ooh, interesting. Just seeing what these various magical orders are capable of. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so I think in terms of treatment from the Templars, you can definitely assume that they've managed to at least halt her symptoms from progressing any further. So,
yep. Yeah, and if she's up for it too, it's obviously just an invitation. So,
yeah, I think she'd be into it. All right, good. So, with that, you are all this much expanded wedding or honeymoon party, vacation party, whatever you want to call it, is departing off the launch, and this gentleman is coming up. He's got a little flat cap and a wool sweater and the waterproof jacket on and everything. And a little hand-rolled cigarette dangling from his lips. Who's kind of taking point on this? Is it Grant?
Yeah, maybe me and the missus. Probably up top. I mean, unless anybody else wants to. I'm cool with hanging back and kind of enjoying the sights.
I am on a mission to see Lady McElroy. So whatever you need me to do.
All right, so this guy picks out Grant, and comes up to you and says, "Oh, it's the American."
That's a keen eye you got there, son.
I was just expecting you, is all. Jock, shake, and he puts out a big meaty hand.
Oh yeah, I shake it, and I give him like the hard handshake. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh shit! All right, he's gonna return it.
That's right. I'm not trying to like put him into submission, but I do want to be like, hey, me and you, brother, like
over the top.
Yeah, put him in the submission hole.
Yeah, exactly. Turn my hat around backwards.
Sheep shearing council got you pushing too many pencils.
All right. So what is your physique?
Oh, definitely average.
Okay. All right. Well, if you wanna throw down some wands, if you happen to have any wands, you can certainly try to outshake this guy. He's got a good physique.
Here's a king of wands.
Oh
What? That's right.
Wow. Okay. So let's see. Not even counting it. All right. So that's an 18 against his good. So that would be a high success. All right. Yeah. So yeah, you return. You clamp down on that vice, and there's a moment on his face that he looks kind of surprised, and then he's like, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just mutual respect is what I'm after here.
Exactly. Well, I'd say you earned it.
Good. Yeah. Can't come at me with "you look like an American." I'm gonna shake your hand off.
Right. All right. And he says, "Oh, and we've got a big party here, so I'll have to make a couple trips, but let's get the bride and the groom in first, And he kind of helps Mrs. Morgan into the carriage, and then sort of gradually, the rest of you filter in. He's able to fit 6 people this time, and the rest are directed over to the local pub to hang out and wait for his return. The Eider's Down is the name of the pub. Let's see here.
I absolutely want to go to that pub, especially if it's foul themed.
Absolutely, yes. Does anybody here have social grace as a good?
Nobody. I do. Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay, so Frederick, you take it all in. You note that the carriage is drawn by a pair of fine-looking matched bays, but you note that they are older horses, and that the carriage seems a bit worn. Like the satin upholstery is just kind of coming apart at the seams here and there. Paint's a little chipped, and this is you're gonna go stay at the castle of a Scottish laird. You would have expected better than this.
Okay, duly noted.
Hopefully the tapestries are not as disappointing.
Considering the state of my ancestral home, I'm not too judgmental on this.
That's true. Let's see. As for Breksta or Astrid in Bernadette's body, do either of you have comeliness at good or higher?
Mine is exceptional.
Mine is currently good.
Okay.
Until I get my old body back.
Right. All right. So Jock, is definitely eyeballing Breksta as she gets into the carriage, and that's your hot Scot right there. And
what's his app? What's his app? What's his app?
What is the? Oh God, Hold on, I'm trying to summon this guy's name. Okay. So the movie where Billy Connolly plays Queen Victoria's personal bodyguard and assistant. What's the name of that movie? Let's see here. Oh boy. Oh, Her Majesty Mrs. Brown. That's right. If you look him up in that movie, that's basically what Jock looks like. So, pretty extravagantly bearded, big bushy eyebrows, sort of wild hair, piercing eyes. And, he's just like, oh, it's been a long time since we've had such a fair maiden aboard this old carriage. Please, I'll drive as carefully as I can so that you'll have a pleasant journey back to the castle, madam.
Oh, well, aren't you a charmer?
And he's like completely ignoring Wells,
I'm sure Birdie's used to it. So as he's driving along, he's sort of like talking back to you all, like through the little communication hatch, in the carriage, and he says, "Oh, I suppose it's a good thing you've got one of the fair folk with you. There's supposedly some kind of a haunt or a ghost about the grounds, but don't you believe it. I think it's just for the benefit of the locals. Give them something to talk about." Are there few of my kind here in your lovely village?
Aye, madam, it's a sad state of affairs ever since the crofters were thrown off their land. The good folk went with them, sadly. What with all the enclosures and whatnot.
It is sad. It really brings to mind the whole plight of the brownies in Paris and makes it feel, that much more real, I suppose, that it's happening all around us.
It is indeed. Yes, the fairy folk are being pushed back everywhere you look, it seems, these days. But the weather holds, at least for the remainder of the journey up to the castle. And soon enough, it comes into view. This looming edifice of gray stone and copper turrets turned green by the constant rain and fog. But, a large estate nonetheless. Looks like it's got plenty of room for all of you. And as the carriage is kind of coming around the bend, you get a good view of the grounds as well. You see some gardens, like finely manicured hedges and fountain and trees and flowers. Strangely, at the entrance to the garden is a ticket booth that is being manned by some servant. And much like the carriage, the castle and the grounds have the initial impression of being well maintained, but also just have little signs of neglect to the discerning eye.
I'm going to say, driver, why the ticket booth at the garden?
That's part of the whole thing with the ghost. It's said that the Black Lady walks the garden at night. And so, the lairds started to charge admission.
Well, that's a hell of a hustle. Gotta respect it.
No days off.
Yeah, that's an unconventional way to make your money, but I suppose, if it brings in $1 or $2, I suppose it's worth it.
Aye, it has helped bring visitors out, and as you say, there's no harm in it.
Have you ever seen the ghost that's said to walk these paths?
No. As I say, I think it's all just a bit of fun. That Laird McElroy's having. So with that, the carriage pulls up, and Jock jumps down and begins, hoisting your steamer trunks off the back of the carriage as, servants come out to help bring them in. And you all proceed up to the front door. And that takes us into Chapter 2, Discoveries. So, there is a butler waiting for you at the front door, shows you in, and of course you enter this, very grand central hall with high timbered ceiling and many fine tapestries. But also some fine rugs and other assorted ephemera of decor. And coming down the central staircase is the laird of the castle himself, Thomas McElroy. He is a Scotsman of middle years. Looks like a fine gentleman. Let's see here. Anything particularly notable? Well, he's kilted, of course. He's wearing a wool jacket, He's got a nice little manicured mustache and sideburns. And as you all come in, he approaches you from across the hall and says, this must be the Americans' party.
Shut the fuck up.
fucking great.
I'm so happy now.
Oh, if I could bronze that and put it on my mantle, I'd do so.
You must all be rather cold and hungry after your long trip. Please join me in the dining room. And he escorts you through into what is indeed a very large and well-appointed dining room with a massive fireplace in which a fire blazes. There's a long table suitable for seating about 20, with, full service set out, candelabra, so forth. And, servants hopping to it to see to your every needs. He says, I understand you have more of your party coming up, but we can get started here. No reason to wait around and let the crumpets get cold.
I pull the chair out for Mrs. Grant, and she sits in it. I scoot her in there, and I sit next to her, put her at my right. And, I try to do the gentlemanly thing of putting the napkin on my lap and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I'm trying not to drink on this trip.
Mm.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, we'll see if that happens. Because I feel like Mrs. Morgan probably got on me about all of the bottles at the in the hotel room there.
Probably so.
Yeah. I definitely didn't try to clean it up before we left. So yeah,
that's true. Actually, please don't judge the way I live.
Right? Yeah, I'm like I sleep on the floor.
You're a married man now.
I
Such
know.
Behavior is no longer appropriate.
I'm trying to change. I got to believe I can. So I'm trying not to drink, and I'll take the penalties.
Let me look up the rules for DTs here.
That's right. Boy. That's right.
Yeah.
I would definitely ask, is your good lady wife going to be joining us for our food?
So he sort of pauses in mid-flick of his napkin as he was about to put it on his lap as well, and he says, the Lady McElroy. No, I'm afraid not. She's not feeling too well.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I bear a message from one of her friends in London, and I am a bit of a physician myself, if you'd like me to see to her at all.
Well, I've had some doctors around, and there's not much to be done for her, I'm afraid, but I can certainly pass along your kind offer. But here are the neeps and tatties. Let's dig in. So you are treated to a fine buffet of Scottish cuisine. You get you do indeed get your neeps and tatties and your haggis. You get your Scottish crumpets, which are like 7-inch pancakes. You get some hot tea to go with it. And
dude,
yes.
Scottish crumpets look dope.
Is the haggis well spiced?
Oh, it's quite delicious. Yeah, the whole thing is quite
As
good.
a Turk, I think I would pick up on the spices in there. So if they're lacking, that would be bad. But hopefully they spiced it adequately.
I'm just stoked because this is all new food. And it's one of Astrid's favorite things is anything new and novel. And so, yeah, she has like this like lovely, Bernadette exterior, but she's there like eating like a fat kid. So she's having a good time.
It's just tucking in.
Yeah, I see this as fancy food for sure. Me and Mrs. Grant are probably like giggling to ourselves as we're like feeding each other Scottish crumpets and
yeah, right.
I've got some haggis and she's got some haggis and we're like crossing our arms.
Oh my god.
Nice.
Trying to do that with the hot tea and spilling it on each other.
Yeah. Damn it.
Yeah, it's definitely
the
like
wedding cake thing.
Totally.
Where you put it on their nose instead.
It's haggis. We're definitely like, if anybody looked over at us, you'd be like, oh, what are you doing?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
And so, halfway through, the rest of the party shows up. By this point, it has started to rain outside. And a wind has picked up. And yeah. So anything specific in terms of dinner table conversation?
Yeah, I definitely want to bring up the black lady, if nobody else does.
Yeah, I was going to, but you can, because that's the only thing I would want
to
discuss.
That's exactly what I wanted to ask about.
Oh, okay, good. Well, if that's
more
the case,
about this ghost.
I'll let you guys handle that, and me and Mrs. Grant can just giggle and eat haggis.
Giggle haggis.
It's the best way. You've never had haggis until you're giggling through it.
All right. So, Astrid, then?
We've heard the tales of this mysterious black lady. Can you tell us more about this haunt on your grounds?
Ah, the black lady. Yes. Yeah, well, she's always seen moving through the gardens directly behind the castle, always at dusk. She does not appear every night, though. She's, they say she's spectral, clad in swathing black robes. She wanders the garden as if searching for something, never takes the same route twice, and has been known to wail an unworldly cry. She vanishes after the sun completely sets. I've ordered my staff to give her plenty of room.
And when, good sir, pray tell, did this begin to afflict your noble castle?
Oh, earlier this year, about 6 months ago. Couldn't have timed it better, though. Right at the beginning of tourist season.
Did this perhaps coincide with any significant occurrences locally?
Oh, he leans back and thinks, not that I can recall, no. She seems to be fairly benign, but she's given the lady of the house quite a scare.
Are there any of the servants still around right now?
Yeah, I was sure. Say, not sure I believe him. I want to ask around about this, for sure.
Yeah, you're being waited upon, so
I'm kind of curious, do any of them seem to have any facial tics or kind of flickers of emotion as he's saying all of this, that everything's kind of fine and not a big deal?
You do catch a couple. Yeah, I mean they're pretty professional, but you do catch them exchanging a glance here and there, So, maybe they're not quite as blasé about it as he is, or else he's putting on an act for your benefit,
I spill some tea on my lap. And I'm like, oh, and kind of lean back, and I'm looking under the table just for a moment. I want to see what kind of shoes this guy's wearing.
All right. Yeah, you take a little peep, and he's wearing the knee socks with the pattern, and very nicely. Yeah, exactly. And very nicely polished black shoes, leather shoes.
Okay. I'm going to make note of that. I'll probably try to go pick some up.
Right. Head down to local cobbler.
Yeah. Also, you never know. You might see him a toe sticking out behind a curtain or something.
Sure.
Definitely need one of them sweaters. Well, a shopping trip will be in order.
Luckily, there's a gift shop just on the hall.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you want to pass the gift shop on your way in. And he says, "Oh yes, of course. You're always free to take a little trip down to the village. Some of you have already been to the pub, and of course there's other attractions down there as well for those of you looking to spend some coin. But of course you're always free to wander the grounds up here. But I just advise that you not go wandering in the gardens too late."
We'll definitely be wandering the gardens too late.
We will.
Yeah.
We like knowingly
listen to
glance
you.
at each other. It's like the montage of like the eyes across the table, like all looking, like, oh yeah, no, we would never do that.
Yeah, you all bite
sound
down at the
advice.
same time.
Yeah.
Right.
It's Luke.
Shove a whole crumpet in my mouth.
It's like Luke on Jabba's barge, where there's like a trumpet hit every time we glance at one another and nod.
Or Johnny Dangerously with all the nodding.
Totally.
No more nodding.
No. That's the second time Johnny Dangerously has been brought up in this campaign, and I love it every time.
It's one of my favorite movies. Top 5 goats.
Let's see here. Yeah, so he says, all right, now. That's a black lady. She's a part of this castle, just like the rest of us. She's done nothing to harm anybody. You should leave her alone.
What is the history of your castle? How long has it been in this place?
Well, originally it was built in the 13th century, and he kind of launches into this, long discursive history about the castle and the McElroy family and how they received ownership of the castle and the island in exchange for lending their aid to some fairy allies, at some point in the far distant past. And it's been in the family ever since, and they're lords of the Isle, and so on and so forth.
Is it all the original architecture?
Yes, it is indeed. So the dinner is kind of settled into a routine of clinking silverware and porcelain, and then all of a sudden, Pleasant is like, "Have you considered the fact it might be a banshee?" At which point, somebody drops a kettle and it shatters, And the laird kind of looks a little offended and he says, "I don't think so."
I'm gonna make eye contact with her and raise my eyebrows, girl, I know, I'm with you. Got you.
Yeah, Pleasant's been pacing Astrid in terms of putting stuff away, because it's this is hands down, other than the couple times that Lord Azimuth took her to some nice place incognito, this is hands down the nicest place she's ever been in her life.
Is she from around here? I mean, I know she's Irish, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you want to ask her that?
Well, no.
Yeah. Why don't you ask her?
Yeah, I might. I don't want to be like. It'll be like, so how's it feel to be back in the old country? But
yeah, right.
I would offer to kick you under the table, but my legs are too short.
That's probably something Grant would actually do. So I'll go ahead and do that.
Oh my god.
I can't be the charming hero all the time. I gotta be. I gotta be grandpa.
So she just looks at you and only your obvious and complete ignorance saves you from a blistering tirade.
Totally.
And she just says, "I'll have you know I'm from Cork County. Look it up sometime."
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll do that. Sounds wonderful.
And McElroy kind of, being the cultured aristocrat, quickly attempts to clear the air. Like, yes, I have visited that lovely part of your island once or twice myself, young lady, and I found it astoundingly beautiful both times. So then they kind of get into a little dialogue, Anything else you guys want to address while we're at the dinner?
Yeah, I would guess I would probably, like, around that point somewhat be like, well, I mean, speaking of not having appropriate knowledge, what is the issue or offense at mentioning a banshee?
Well, they tend to be more hostile in general. They're not the most benign of spirits, Usually they have some kind of grievance or debt they're trying to address.
So obviously we're in Castle Falkenstein world, but is it like, oh yeah, we dealt with a banshee last year, those pesky things, or is it like a supernatural like event still where we're like, oh, that's folklore, that doesn't happen, or something along those lines?
Kind of in between, it's like these things do exist, but it's trying to think of like a real world analogy. It would kind of be like, if you were talking about a rare and dangerous animal, like,
oh, okay,
right, like, could there be a tiger loose on your grounds that's killing all these people? Like,
I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, at the talks of banshees, I guess Grizzly might kind of, I don't know that he would say anything because he definitely doesn't want to alarm Mrs. Grant. In fact, he might be like, well, I'm sure whatever's on the properties won't do us any harm. And he kind of like pats Mrs. Grant's leg just to reassure her. But in his mind, he's like, I don't think I can shoot a banshee.
They shoot banshees, don't they?
Yeah. Can you shoot one of those?
And of course, for Frederick, you would know a banshee, is definitely more often associated with the unseelie, and Breksta as well, of course. Definitely more often associated with the unseelie court, which probably for Frederick would not be the most welcome of connections.
No, yeah, Frederick is growing more uncomfortable by the minute. I think when he's probably at the pub with the first, he kind of waited, was part of the second round, and tried to put away as much whiskey as possible while there. And once he's now at this old spooky castle, it's bringing back all sorts of old spooky memories, and he's continuing the drinking and general nervousness.
Asking if they could, just sort of spike up that tea a little bit for you.
Yeah. Or maybe he brought a flask with him and he's doing it himself.
Oh, okay. Yeah, a little on the sly. Yeah. All right. The supper passes in otherwise pleasant conversation. So, Astrid, you've made the offer to lend your medical expertise for Lady McElroy. How would you like to try and convince the Laird of your good intentions?
Well, I do have good charisma. I have great education if I just need to sound really smart, like I know what I'm talking about, like, oh yes, a condition of Largenharbinus and whatever, and whatnot. Whatever you think would be best for this case, I am happy to go either way.
Yeah, I think if you want to sound like you know what you're talking about, go with that option. And he's not, let's see. not overly suspicious. So let's see here. Yeah, it would just be an average task, I think. So, what's your level at?
Great.
Great is an automatic full success. So as the supper breaks up, Laird McElroy stands and he says, "Well, I think perhaps I'll take you up on that offer, madam. If you'll just follow me, then."
Oh, of course.
As for the rest of you, our servants will show you to your quarters, and you can feel free to get settled in.
We're all like 100% meeting in like the shadiest study for like drinks to like gossip after.
I was gonna
right?
say
Totally.
we
Yeah.
need to share a
That's like the
glance of
second
like
round.
we're gonna
Yes.
Yeah.
we're
Nice
totally
enough,
meeting
right?
up like later.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
There's a mystery to solve, gang.
Yeah, I definitely give them like the Scooby-Doo look of like, I'll fill
Totally.
you in when I'm done.
Can we have a scene where we're running around in the halls of the castle and we're going in one door and coming out the other, and
Yeah, exactly.
somebody ends up in the armor and I'm gonna thank the Lord, and well, not the Laird. I'm gonna thank the Laird. But I am gonna call him my Lord.
My Laird.
Yeah, my Laird. I think that's fancy. And when we get up there, I'll probably humor Mrs. Grant until she feels like she's gonna go to sleep, and then or time to read a book, and then I'll go meet up with everybody else.
All right, cool. All right, so Astrid, you are conveyed into one of the wings of the castle, down a long hall past rain-splattered windows, and to a large oak door at the end of this hallway. At which point, McElroy asks you to please wait here, and then he heads within. So as you wait, you can see from your vantage point, you're like up on the second story, and you can see right down into the gardens from where you're at.
What time of day is it after supping?
It's getting on for dusk.
Oh, okay. I suppose I will look out the window then while I wait. No harm in that, right?
Certainly not. And so the rain has begun to lighten up, and a bit of the setting sun is breaking through under the clouds, so it's illuminating this rain splattered garden. And as you are looking down into the hedge maze, the obligatory hedge maze, you do indeed see a woman moving through the hedges, dressed all in black with a black veil, black gloves, and her dress seems to move about her, as does her veil. But it's just the briefest glimpse as she kind of goes around a corner of the hedge maze, passes out of sight. And in that moment, the door opens again, and Laird McElroy says, "The lady will see you now."
Awesome. If this was real life, I'd freak out, but but I'm okay.
Okay. All right. So you're shown in to a very large and well-appointed bedchamber. The curtains are drawn. It feels like they've probably been closed all day because the air is very stuffy. There are some oil lamps on tables that have been lit, and you get your first look at Lady McElroy. She is thin-faced and sort of has a somewhat unpleasant expression on her face, not a great beauty by any means. Perhaps made worse by, her poor health over the last year. She's wearing black, with some white lace accents. And it's just kind of a house dress, nothing fancy. But she says, "My husband tells me that you're a somewhat skilled physician, madam."
Yes, I'm a calculation engineer by trade, but I've been studying medicine, and I hoped I might be able to do something to help you. I heard you are unwell.
Well, some may say that. I personally think I am just rather tired from the season.
Has her husband left, or is he still here?
He is still here.
Okay.
Well, if you would like, I would certainly be happy to do an examination. I know sometimes being a woman, it can be difficult to have someone understand what you are feeling and, how things are going. And perhaps my experience can help to lend better to that expertise in helping you.
Oh, well, I suppose it couldn't hurt.
And,
so she, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, either I would kind of give the laird a sort of look like maybe some privacy for this examination.
Right.
If that doesn't work, I have a backup plan.
All right. So you give him a look, and he kind of twigs to it. He's like, "Oh, of course. Excuse me," and he departs.
And so, I get close to her. I have my bag of fun stuff, as I always do, and I whisper as I lean close, "I have a message from your friend, Mrs. Memory Lord, and I'm here to help you."
So she looks a bit startled at this, and she says, "Oh, Memory. I have been corresponding with her, but I hope I didn't frighten her."
She was simply concerned and wanted someone to be able to check in on you personally. So I just need you to tell me everything you know about this black woman so that we can try to figure it out.
No, there's very little to tell, I'm afraid. I've watched her from my window over here at times. And I don't know. It is what it is, It's a feature of the castle, I suppose. The strange thing about it is that I've watched her several times now, and I think for a spirit, it's awfully strange that she always walks between the hedges, never through them.
Oh, that definitely is strange. Your husband made it to seem as though you're more concerned about her than he is, or that he seems fit to think is right.
No, I think he's just playing it up for the tourists, He's quite keen on making a bit of coin off this whole thing.
Oh, I see. Well, thank you for the information. Please know that my friends, who are quite capable, will be looking into this to make sure that you are safe and sound, and I will report back to your friends with the good news. In the meantime, would you like me to go ahead and examine and see if there might be anything amiss to make you feel ill?
No, I'm quite fine, thank you. Quite fine indeed. Now, with your good physician, you are quite able to diagnose the fact that she is probably most likely suffering from what they would call a malaise.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense for what she's been through, so.
Very well. Well, please, if there is any time where you would like to talk or do anything at all, we'll be here for a while as part of our trip. So I'd be happy to converse with you at any time.
Of course, thank you. That is very kind of you indeed. And yes, please do convey the good news to my dear friend.
Of course. I will let you rest for the evening.
Meanwhile, in the darkest study in the castle that you could find, the rest of you have met up. So obviously, Grant, you were set up with a nice, fourth floor tower suite, with a commanding view out over the countryside. The rest of you all get, just a little guest room on the lower floors of the same tower. And so it is quite easily accomplished to meet up after Mrs. Morgan has retired to the bedchamber, to meet up in the, sort of parlor portion of your guest suite.
Yeah, definitely. As I'm sneaking out the room, I imagine she's probably like got her head on my chest, and I'm able to like kind of sneak out a little.
Yeah.
And then I get over there and I pick up my hat, or I'm probably like creaking open the door and sliding out, and then I close the door, and then before it latches shut, I reach in and grab my hat.
Nice. I was imagining you in the like old school like sleeping gown sort of thing with the cap on and like your gun belt like belted over it.
Got
and your boots,
the butt flap and everything.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's even better.
You got your union suit on.
Yeah.
All right. So the rest of you, meet up, including Astrid, who at this point would have had time to return to her chambers and check in with everyone. So, we'll say it's nighttime, but not too late probably. And there's a nice fire going, and the the black and white marble fireplace of the parlor, and a bit of a wind blowing outside, rattling the windows from time to time. So what's the plan?
Yeah,
I saw her. I saw the black woman with her robes and everything. It was crazy. She's in the hedge maze.
I was actually going to ask, since we all had some time, is there a chance that any of the rest of us might have caught a glimpse of her as well?
So the thing is that the garden is positioned on the far side of the castle from where you are. So, like the only way that that Astrid was able to see her was the fact that she went over to that side of the castle.
So is it like the garden is kind of more on the side where, say, like the Lard's like private sort of chambers are?
Yeah.
Or okay, and we're sort of just at the front of the house.
Right. Correct.
Clubs go.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, describe her. What did she look like?
Yeah.
Yes, what can you tell us?
They described, dressed all in black veil, black gloves, very difficult to see any features underneath. But what was interesting in talking with the lady of the house, she says that the woman always moves through the maze, never like actually using the path. She never goes through the hedges like a ghost. She behaves as one more corporeal, if you will.
Well, perhaps her spirit is accustomed to walking the hedge maze, and therefore she doesn't think to use her ethereal form, as it were.
Or maybe she only has an average etherealness.
Shots fired.
I think it's worth investigating, particularly if we think there may be something afoot.
I don't know. I mean, you heard the Laird. He said that she's never done any harm, and I mean, that's, as far as I know, how he's making his money.
It is unusual, though, that she would appear just 6 months ago. I mean, depending on who she is. I can't imagine it would be terribly fun to just show up at a castle like this. There's no one around. So clearly there must be something keeping her here or drawing her here.
And if truly she is a spirit stuck in this place, maybe we can help her.
And recall your comments from our own previous investigation, Grant, that who stands to profit? I recall you saying, follow the money. This is a good venue to pursue.
I agree with that, absolutely. But I guess I'm not quite sure what the threat is.
Well, I did meet with Mrs. Memory Lord in the interim time before this trip, and she was concerned that if this was a banshee, that there could be danger. Even if we choose not to interrupt, if it's just some charade for the sake of lordly monies, I mean, if that's something you want to allow to continue to happen, fine. But knowing that it isn't a danger, I think, is the important thing.
I agree with that, Astrid. I think that's a great point.
Do I have any particular knowledge? I mean, having delved into both sides, I think at least a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why they're a big deal other than being incredibly, I don't know, they're downers. You don't want them around at a party.
Yeah, they can be dangerous. You know, they can actually kill people. You know, and they've been known to. So.
Well, I wonder if this thing is one of those things. If it is a banshee, I wonder what has kept it from. I mean, I wonder what's brought it here in 6 months. That seems like a odd time. I mean, Breksta, do you know of any fairies that just choose to pop into existence and haunt a place?
I mean, where your will takes you
okay.
is really...
Well...
but I will say, I mean, this place being so devoid of other fair folk really... I mean, banshees, I believe, are more drawn to sadness. This place is sad. There's nothing fun here. All of the fair folk are gone. There's no, I think...
Well, this is my honeymoon.
I mean...
Sorry for the invite.
The food is...
This exudes sadness.
Yeah, the party just got here.
It's just dripping with sadness.
Well, and that's the thing is, it doesn't sound like the castle itself has had a history of sadness. But if, you know, this poor creature appeared, you know, pulled against her will for all we know, 6 months ago, then perhaps something happened 6 months ago that was so traumatizing that, you know, she had no choice but to be bound to this place. I can't imagine wanting to stay, especially to stay for 6 months without any.
Yeah, I mean, if
company.
It's 6 months and apparently nobody's been killed.
But we don't know that for sure. We know that the Lord has said that no one's been killed. Also, David, out of character, in talking to Memory, she told me about what happened with Lady McElroy. I know it's like last year or whatever, but exactly how long ago was her unfortunate event?
It would have been just about a year ago, actually.
Okay. Just making sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Then yeah, I'm unaware of anything else. But also, we don't have all the information. Perhaps another visit into town, talking to some folks at the pub, seeing maybe if those more at the having to buy a ticket level have seen anything more of interest.
Yeah, did anybody I mean, we were the first ones on the boat. Did anybody see interested or disturbed that we were going over there? Haas, I know you are drinking.
Right, you didn't get any dire warnings, but yeah, I was actually just about to kick it there to Haas since you mentioned that you were at the pub waiting for that second ride. So
we didn't have the horror movie
we'll
Harbinger.
We'll do a little flashback here.
Ooh.
Haas staring into the fire in the study, thinking back on this afternoon when he was down in the pub. So you would have walked into this pub with Pleasant and some of the other members of the bride's party, and it was definitely a good time, lots of raucous laughter, clinking of mugs and glasses, somebody playing darts, pentagram on the wall, that kind of thing. Just normal.
Just the slaughtered lamb.
The slaughtered lamb, exactly. But as you walk in, everyone kind of goes quiet to look. But, it's not like it's this like provincial, pub in the middle of nowhere. It's, right on the docks. So they're used to people coming and going. So they kind of take you in, though, and they look at your bearing, and they can see that you're a gentleman. And so there's, a few little, like, kind of polite nods and tugging of caps, and then people just kind of go back to their chit-chat. So how would you like to approach your time in the pub?
So I think the first thing we'll do is look for a table that would suffice for everyone in our party. Mm-hmm. Then I would head up to the bar to get drinks, maybe some glasses and a bottle of whiskey or wine or whatever.
That's true. You said you're getting loaded, so.
Mm-hmm. And I'll just ask the bartender, the tavern keeper, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
So we're staying at Broderick Castle. Do you have any, experiences there? And I'll keep in mind that I noted the worn look of the carriage, and just fish around, see if they, the locals know anything about what's happening there. This is, of course, before visiting the castle, so I'm not really sure what to expect.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So the person behind the bar is a kindly older woman with flaming red hair. Looks like Mrs. Garrett from Facts of Life, for those of you old enough to remember. And so she introduces herself as Mistress Ross, and she says, "Well, yeah, we've actually not had a lot of custom with the castle lately, unfortunately. What is your choice? Exchequer, charisma, or connections? How do you want to? You could use Exchequer to kind of impress her, like, I am a gentleman, you can tell me anything. Charisma, of course, would just be charming her. Connections would be probably the least likely. I believe my cousin once lived here. Your choice.
Well, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go with connections because that's the only skill that I have.
Oh, okay.
Three.
You don't have Exchequer?
I don't. No.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I have connections. I have great connections.
Great connections. Oh well. Okay. So how would you this international diplomat justify it?
Well, you know what? Is it possible instead of would it be possible to use performance and try to, or would that be something entirely different?
Well, how would you want to use it?
Let's see. You know what? Okay, so I'm thinking performance is probably more along the lines of actual performing, right? Like singing, dancing, like that kind of thing, rather than performing playing it a part or something. So, okay, so in the case of connections, I think what I'll probably end up doing is, just mention my connection to the embassy and say, that I'm here on diplomatic business, and any information would be most helpful.
Okay, and what level did you say that was at?
It's at great.
great. Okay, good. Well, you'll be able to get one rumor out of her, but if you want to try and buy that up, let's see, that would be swords.
Okay, so don't have swords. So yeah, I'm just gonna have to dump, I think.
All right, Zadoop.
Actually, you know what? I'll just get a new hand.
Oh, all right. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. Recall those. And
okay, let me dump these guys too.
Yep. Mm-hmm. All right. Go ahead and draw your new hand.
Ooh.
Such luxury.
Wow. Very luxurious. Oh, great. Okay. So yeah, play a Page of Swords.
Oh, and Jade just had a power outage apparently.
No.
Wondering where she went.
No.
The downside of these online venues. All right, a Page of Swords, you say? Well, that's excellent. All right, so that will be enough to get you three pieces of information. I know Castle Falkenstein doesn't use dice, but there are 6 rumors here. So if you wanted to roll a d6 3 times, I wouldn't hold it against you.
Oh, I'd love to. What are these dice you speak of?
I know.
Careful, one of them's a chamber pot.
I know. You won't believe this,
Well,
but a chamber pot.
To be fair, if dice were going to be a thing at Castle Falkenstein, you would use them in a shitty little pub.
That's true. That's true. They're probably throwing some bones over in the corner.
Prefer the term quaint, sir.
I rolled a 6, a 3,
Shitty
and a 1.
indeed. How dare you?
Oh, perfect. All right. So a 6, 3, and a 1. Oh, well. So Mistress Ross decides to join you in this bottle of whiskey that you've ordered, and she says, "Well, you know, the Isle of Arran is a shadow of what it once was, sir. A shadow. The clearances saw wealthy individuals take advantage of poorly written Scottish law to evict farmers and consolidate land into larger farms, focusing on sheep herding instead of food growing. Many have left the Isle for cities on the mainland, looking for work. Those that remained ended up earning less due to a depressed economy and less employment opportunity. The McElroys did their best to fight against these clearances, but there was little they could do against the force of the law. But sadly, sir, many of the ferries on this isle left during the clearances as well, choosing to follow the departing humans with whom they had formed family bonds, you might say. Others vanished into the hills or waters and haven't been seen since." And shortly before Jock returns with the carriage, Mistress Ross leans in a very confiding tone says, "See that young lady just departing right now? That's Fiona Logan, the pastor's daughter. She has the voice of an angel. Now some are whispering that she and the laird might be having an affair, but that's none of my business."
Interesting. All right, thank you for that. All right, so yeah, I'll finish up there and head out.
Yeah, so you come back out of your reverie, thinking back to the conversations of the evening as everyone else is busy chatting away.
Okay. So I will share that information with everyone and my suspicions that perhaps this Lady in Black is not so ethereal after all. It might be something much more human.
Well, what would a person be doing just wandering around the gardens? Unless they're seeing a cut of the pay of the ticket stubs.
Well, it could be something as simple as an elaborate ruse to cover up the Laird's infidelity. Perhaps others saw this. What was her name, Dave?
Fiona Logan.
Perhaps others saw this Fiona Logan wandering the gardens, and this story was invented to make it seem as if something else was afoot, something supernatural, and it kind of grew from there. Can't say for certain. And then Frederick finishes his glass of whiskey and puts his cigarette out on the fireplace mantle. But I suppose the only way we'll find out is if we head down there ourselves.
Astrid, you said you just saw her. How long ago was that?
How long have we been talking in here?
I mean, it was as the sun was going down. It's October, so it was probably a few hours ago. Yeah.
I mean, if the tales are true, we may be too late today, but I can definitely lead you to the place where I saw her if we wanted to take a look.
I don't see any harm in that. And I do recall the Laird saying that she doesn't come every night, which, again, breeds suspicion. You'd think a spirit might have a more regular schedule.
Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays from 5 to
7. Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go check it out.
Okay. So the guest suites are accessed from kind of like a central landing, right? And so you all tromp down to this landing. There's a single doorway that leads then into a hallway. But when you try the door, you find it has been locked from the other side.
Locked, you say?
Locked, I say.
Too bad. We have the altitudinous human delivery harness.
There's that.
Oh, Lordy.
Nice.
or of course, tinkering.
I was going to say, I have some skill with locks and similar mechanical devices, perhaps. Mm-hmm. If it's not like a blind deadbolt or barred from the other side type of situation, I might be able to pick it open.
Well, I have a suspicion you might even... I have a suspicion you may be able to get us past a barred door as well.
Even then, yeah, exactly. Roll your bent bars, lift gates, please.
If he falls, fine. If not, the sword.
Right.
All right. Yeah. So you can undo this lock with a great tinkering feat, or if you want to deploy the altitudinous descender from an upper story window, you may do that as well. Of course.
Well,
hey, Jade.
Hey, a wild Jade has appeared. That's awesome.
That weird.
Ultimate spookiness. The house plunged into complete blackness.
Yeah, right, huh?
Would have been great if it was, and with an accompanying peal of thunder, and then boom.
It's actually kind of worse because it was just like pure silence. No sound outside. No nothing.
Yikes.
Yeah, that is
spoopy.
The worst.
All right. So to catch you up, we did a little flashback sequence with Frederick in which he found out that the Laird is probably having an affair with the pastor's daughter in the village. And and now everyone is trying to sneak out to the gardens at night just to kind of check them out. Astrid's going to show everyone where she spotted the Black Lady, and only to have discovered that the main door giving access to the rest of the castle from your guest suites has been locked from the other side. So Iskander is getting ready to try and pick that lock.
I think I should try to pick it and have the person descender device as a fallback. Sorry, I know I derped the name on that one, because that is a one at a time sort of situation. Whereas if I open the door, everyone can go through in a line. So
sure.
I do
less
have
style, but more effective to go through the door.
The hell you say?
Yeah, you can
Picking
pick a lock
style
stylishly.
Incorporates many flourishes. I do have a great tinkering, so...
A great tinkering, you say?
Yes.
Okay, let's see. Well, that's all you need, actually, so no need to play any cards or anything like that. Fantastic. I shan't stand in your way. Alright, so the lock is easily taken care of by Iskander's capable skills. And you get your Scooby-Doo moment with the five of you sneaking out, all sort of weirdly pressed together in a little clump with synchronized tiptoes.
Yes.
So you make your way out onto the grounds. It is pitch black. The sky is completely overcast, so you're getting no moonlight or starlight. There's just whatever ambient light is leaking out from some of the castle windows, giving you just enough light to sort of pick your way along, with one hand along the wall, trying not to trip over anything. So yes, as mentioned, you're kind of on the front side of the castle, so you have to make your way around and then back towards the gardens. And if you recall, there's a gated entrance with a ticket booth, which of course, obviously, at this time of night would not normally have somebody in it. But you do sense that there is somebody nearby because you see that little glowing cherry of a cigarette being pulled on out in the darkness.
Who wants to lead on this?
Yeah, is it in the area of the booth, or is it just deeper in the gardens, like past the gate?
It's like near the booth. It's like 5 feet from the booth.
Okay.
Well, I have excellent stealth. Well, not excellent. I have good stealth.
Good
because
stealth,
excellent is an actual.
It's an actual. Yeah.
Also, I can go invisible. So
Ooh.
I'm happy to maybe scout ahead and see who's hanging out up yonder.
Okay.
And does she get a bonus to stealth because I'm so bad at it and also just not inconspicuous at all?
I mean, I'm assuming you want Breksta to just go on ahead without anybody else.
Yeah, we could do that.
I mean, if she wants to scout ahead,
yeah, I'll be
like ethereal the fuck out of there if necessary.
Especially since it's so dark, I think with her excellent ethereal stealthiness, that she's our best bet.
Indeed. All right, so let's see here. You're stealthing it up, so that would be wands. And actually, we will need a great success on that one. So. But you're starting at good, so you really only need 2 points to get to that point.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, I don't have any wands right now. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go ahead and throw down, since I just need the 2.
Yep.
This guy. And let's go ahead and do this guy.
Cool.
So there's my 2 points.
Yep. All right, that gets you where you need to be. So you are coming up on this cigarette smoking man. And as you get closer, you recognize, your eyes begin to pick out in the darkness the distinctive silhouette of Jock Sheath.
Mm-hmm.
Or Sheikh, actually. check.
That's the ferryman, right?
The carriage driver.
The carriage driver, yeah.
Carriage driver, that's right.
Who was given the eyeballs to Breksta.
Yeah, actually, I'm wondering if I can maybe use this to my advantage.
Mm-hmm.
See if I can. Am I allowed to redraw my hand up?
Yeah, go for it.
Let's see what I get. Okay.
I can work with this.
Well, I do have exceptional comeliness, great charisma. He already likes me. So I think that I'll go ahead and sort of like pop out and like, oh, are you down here for a smoke as well?
So you startle him. You know, he sort of jumps and, oh, my lady. Fancy meeting you here. Yes, I. Excuse me, I nearly inhaled my cigarette. I'm just down here for a smoke and just guarding the gate, if I'm honest.
Guarding the gate? Why, that sounds like such lonely work. You wouldn't happen to have a spare cigarette, would you? And I'm kind of hoping, like, maybe I can kind of like, like wave my hand, like behind my back for my friends to like go.
Right. Yeah. So he gets this wry grin on his face because he likes a lady who smokes. It's kind of a bit naughty. So he begins patting down his coat like, oh, somewhere around here. Mm-hmm. So the rest of you see the sign from Breksta.
I'll maybe just be making some like pleasant small talk about what a lovely evening it is to kind of just generate some noise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we just haul it. I mean, quietly, tiptoe haul it.
In true Scooby-Doo fashion.
No.
Yeah, Iskander. I'm like, Iskander, duck, damn it.
Okay.
Just trying right through the hedges. Over them, maybe.
Smash!
The Godzillaing through the hedge.
Like, oh, the foxes are awfully feisty as they're getting ready for their hibernation this time of year, aren't they?
Yeah. Aye, foxes, yes. So you reach the garden gate. This is a wrought iron gate. It is also locked. So you have a couple options there. You can tinker your way through, or of course you can just scale over it with an athletics feat.
Well, I can try to unlock it again, I guess, if everyone's amenable. Mm-hmm. Especially if there's some of us with athletics that are not necessarily par for the course, so to say.
What would that be?
Okay. This is a much more delicate and intricate lock, so this will actually require an exceptional success.
All right. And that is let's see, is that an intellectual thing or is that a physical thing? What is the
tinkering, I believe. Deal? Let's see here. What is tinkering? That is pentacles. That is a mental and intellectual activity, yes.
Whoosh. All right. Balls.
I might Iskander, I might see you looking at this and be like, do you need some help?
This may
you need to cast a spell.
No. No.
If you turn the lock into margarine, it'll be fine.
I was gonna say this would be easier right to open if it were butter.
Yeah. But I'm gonna look at you and be like, do you need some help? Do you have this?
Oh, this does seem a bit beyond my expertise. I've never seen quite such craftsmanship before.
Do you mind if I give it a shot?
By all means.
You can kind of direct me, and I'm going to get close to the lock and look at it, and I'm going to scratch my head because I am poor at tinkering.
Oh my god, that's right.
So, what is that, a -2?
You're at 2. Yeah,
2.
and you need to get to exceptional, so you need 8 points.
8 points. All right. Well, I'm gonna put down a Knight of Pentacles.
You see how the keyway is in a delicate Z pattern that doubles back into a gooseneck. It's quite difficult to maintain tension on it whilst also feeling the tumblers. Plus, I feel that there's some false cylinders in here as well. It's quite difficult.
Click.
Yeah.
I may have told the story before to some of you, but it reminds me of a time a friend and me were like, I don't know, 11, 12 years old, trying to get to a vending machine that was like on the other side of a like a little gated fence in a sort of like a pool and rec room area, and like. So he just starts to like scale this fence. He starts to try to climb up over it, and I'm like standing in front of the gate, and I just like open it and step through. Like it's just like you could just try opening the gate.
Yeah.
Oh
That's
man.
awesome.
All right. Cool. So I mean, Iskander's like completely overthinking it, and Grant just like walks up and he's like, "Oh, you could just turn the handle the opposite direction. See what happens."
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a pull, not a push. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just a pull. It's like, oh, thing's not open. Damn it.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So the luck comes out, and I'm like, all right, let's get out of here.
All right. So you move into the gardens, and you are moving down. Of course, in between the hedges, it's even darker. But Astrid, you can kind of navigate from memory. You're like, okay, if I'm positioned here, then I would have gone down this way or whatever. But there's a chill wind blowing. The hedges are all covered in dewdrops from the earlier rain. And you're navigating through these dark passageways when, as you round a corner, you can see up ahead what appears to be a bit of billowing fabric in the wind.
If I'm leading the way, I will immediately stop and probably refer to literally anybody else to get in front.
Okay. Well, yes, of course. Allow me.
Okay.
I'm all about putting myself in harm's way to defend the well-being of my companions.
Well, now you put it like that, damn.
So what would you like to do then about this billowing bit of fabric?
I'll definitely take points on checking that out, especially if Grant pulls up short. It's not a lack of metal, I don't think. It's just strange circumstances, and plus he's newlywed. He's got a new lease on life. He's got a wife to provide for and think about now. So
right, I'm not trying to die on my honeymoon, bro. Could you imagine what that would do?
To my poor wife, the first night she like wakes up the next morning like, a soft-boiled egg, and what's this? A letter. Your husband's dead. Sorry, you have till noon to get out.
Get out.
That's how that goes.
That's indeed.
Immediately evicted.
So Iskander will press on.
Yes, investigate the billowing black fabric.
All right. So you move up. Rest of the party following close behind, no doubt. And as you draw closer, you can see what appears to be a scarf stuck to a bit of twig.
I'll pull it off from the twig and hold it, turn around, turning my back to the passageway, and hold it up to my friends. and say, "It's just a bit of cloth, perhaps a scarf from a former patron snagged upon the bramble."
Does it look at all, as far as fabric and stuff? I'm sure I can't necessarily discern colors and things like that, like what I saw, or is this something separate?
It could easily have come from the thing you saw, but then again, it could have been from somebody else who was in the maze.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, to kind of follow up on the information that Haas procured, either at one end of the maze or kind of in the direction that the form seemed to go, I think it'd be wise to look for some form of entrance or egress related to the castle proper.
Who wants to try for an exceptional perception feat?
My perception's good.
What is
I
perception?
think Haas has really good perception.
Yeah, Haas
though.
has a good one.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, so
Nice.
Haas would be our go-to for that.
And that's a mental
That
activity,
would be a mental, yes, pentacles.
Pentacles.
Mental
Okay.
pentacles.
Mentacles.
All right, so yeah, I will play the Page of Pentacles.
Oh, damn.
And I will draw my own replacement card. Thank you very much.
Oh, excuse me. All
I've been
right.
cycling through the deck the whole time.
Damn it. All right. So, Haas, with your keen eagle eyes, looking at the scarf, looking where it was plucked from, you see that it's one of those situations where a very narrow passageway has been cut through the hedges in such a way that unless you're looking right at it, you're not going to see it.
All right, so I'll head over to the passageway and pull some of the branches aside to take a look beyond.
All right, so it appears to be perhaps an access passage for like the gardeners, just to allow them to get into the interior part of the maze without having to, walk through it every time, because it's like a straight shot right out of the maze, pointing in the direction of the village. And so as you're looking at the twinkling lights of the village of Breksta, I think that is where we will leave it off with this strange mystery afoot.
Oh, all right. Well done, everyone.
Yeah. Interesting.
You'll have to let me in on the intricacies of this distinctly American lockpicking technique, Mr. Grant.
Of simply opening the door and pushing it in.
It just says,
it helps, you see.
yeah, it just says push on the door, that's all.
No, he didn't
unlock
understand
it.
it because it said push, because it's all like
Yeah.
Scottish.
Totally.
It just said, push ya pansy. So, and we'll when we come back, we'll have an opportunity to examine the scarf and go forth, and also see what Breksta got up to with Jock Sheik, or however you pronounce that. So, but yeah, this is a reminder. We are off next week, so we will reconvene in 2 weeks' time and see if we can solve the mystery of Breksta Castle.
Oh,
Yay.
Or at least turn it into butter.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, if all else fails, just turn the castle into butter.
You know how we are with mysteries, dude. This is going to take another 2 or 3 sessions.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll have this wrapped up by Christmas.
This one shot.
22.
Yeah.
We're just
is this
very
something
thorough.
Where because obviously this episode comes out pretty quickly because you're magical like that.
Thank you.
So is this something that if people wanted to play this for their Halloween games, they can access? Is it going to be up in time for Halloween? What do we tell them? What do they do?
Yeah.
So thank you, Rainey. So Drive Through RPG has a a Halloween promotion they run every year, and so I'm just actually checking right now if it's up on the Artel Saurian company publisher site, or if that's going to come up a little later. Whoops. If I could actually learn how to type, that would be good. But if it's not up right now, it will be up, I think, by the weekend. So, it is up. There it is. All right, so the Black Lady brought a castle, free to download from DriveThruRPG. I'll put a link in the show notes, as they say.
Huzzah! Link in the
promise not to look at it until after the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah. Scouts honor. Tinkerer's Guild honor.
Yes. Try to resist the urge to peek in and see how to win the game.